So what is the most important story in our news right now, in our country, in this moment in American history? I mean, there is clearly, I think if we're being honest, we sort of stop beating around the bush about it. There's really no question what the United States is up against right now. I mean, the intentions of this president are not a mystery. There's no suspense. There's no ambiguity, right? We know exactly who he is. We know exactly what he wants to do to the country, right? No question, no mystery. It's as plain as day. The real question we are contending with, the real black box, the real drama, the story that really does need to be dug up and explained and told in our country because it is as yet undecided. The real mystery is not him. We know him. We know what he wants and what he's trying to do. The real mystery is, will he succeed? Will he get what he wants? And the answer to that will not be found by looking at him or by watching his actions. The answer to that question will come from the people of this country. The most important story of our time is this one. What is this country going to allow him to do? This is an attempted authoritarian overthrow of the United States Constitution and the U.S. government, the attempted imposition of a dictatorial regime. That is clear. That is unambiguous. I think it is unquestioned. I think there are very few people on any side of American politics who would contend with that. The question is whether it will work. And the way we will find out whether or not it's going to work is not going to be something that happens in the White House. It's going to be something that happens in the streets and in the courts and in the states and in Congress and in every other place that people are trying to say no. The strength of the movement against him is what will determine our fate as a country. And what we are seeing over and over again in what I believe is the most important story in the country, what we are seeing over and over again is that protesting against him works. That he wants to seem strong, but he is not that strong. Organizing against him works. Fighting him in court works. Pushing back works. Protesting in the streets works. And so Marcelo is free in Milford, Massachusetts, and Carol is free in Missouri, and the 4-year-old girl in Bakersfield, California is free and alive. And in Albuquerque, the movement to keep Antonio here means that Antonio is still here. And none of these things are instant, right? And they don't always work. But pushback is the only thing that ever does work. By Saturday this weekend, we were on to a second day of large-scale protests in Los Angeles against similarly over-the-top militarized raids by Trump's immigration agents. I mean, it started in Los Angeles this weekend, Friday and Saturday. By Sunday, there were solidarity rallies in Bakersfield, California, and in Houston, and a big one in Phoenix and in San Antonio, and again in San Diego, a big one in San Francisco where dozens of people were arrested. People in Pasadena protested outside the hotel where they learned ICE officers were staying during these immigration raids in Los Angeles. I mean, as of Saturday night, Trump had started fulminating against the protests in Los Angeles. He had announced that he would federalize the National Guard. It's the first time a president has done that against the wishes of a state's governor in 60 years. And when it was done 60 years ago, it was to protect civil rights protesters, not to threaten protesters with military force. But, you know, Trump panicking like that, the response of the American people to it has been exactly what you'd think. I mean, bigger protests than ever in Los Angeles, the solidarity protests that I just listed all day Sunday in all those cities all across the country. Today, solidarity protests in Atlanta, across the street from Atlanta's Immigration Court building. Solidarity protests today in Baltimore. Solidarity protests today in Boston and also in Chicago. In Tampa, Florida today, there was a huge solidarity protest. In Raleigh, North Carolina, in Washington, D.C. today, there were protests outside the Justice Department headquarters. You know, and when people stand up and protest, what we are learning over and over again in this administration is that protest works. And one of the ways that it works is that it puts steel in the spine of the political opposition in this country. For elected Democrats, it clarifies things for them. It shows them that the more they themselves push back as elected officials, the more support they will have from their own constituents. And so it's a sort of virtuous circle, right? Amid this primal surge of protest, this moral revulsion and rejection of what Trump is doing, I mean, you see the elected Democrats stepping up and standing up, too.
Tom Homan, the border czar, said to me yesterday he did not rule out literally arresting you, nor Mayor Bass, if you interfere in his words. He said you hadn't yet.
He's a tough guy. Why doesn't he do that? He knows where to find me. But you know what? Lay your hands off 4-year-old girls that are trying to get educated. Lay your hands off these poor people who are just trying to live their lives, man. Trying to live their lives, paying their taxes, been here 10 years. The fear, the horror, the hell is this guy? Come after me, arrest me. Let's just get it over with. Tough guy. You know, I don't give a damn.
What are you going to do? You going to shoot some kid who's afraid of you and run? You going to shoot an elected official? If you shoot me, you better shoot straight. I don't know why you're in my city. You did. The governor was not contacted. This is Trump and his outrageous attempt to not only target our sanctuary city, but to frighten us and intimidate us. This is wrong, and I hope that none of you will use those guns to shoot anybody. There's no reason to shoot anybody. Don't allow them to make your service in a service where you're killing people. Don't do it. Defy them. Don't shoot those guns for anything.
Don't shoot those guns for anything. I mean, did you see what happened this past week in Minneapolis? This ridiculous military dress-up pageant that they put on in the streets of Minneapolis a few days ago? I mean, this is not the National Guard. This is agents from various federal agencies. Seems like there's a lot of them from HSI, which is the inexplicable, not at all trained for this force inside the Department of Homeland Security that they keep deploying like this in these embarrassing Banana Republic, shambolic shows of disorganized force. I mean, what are you doing here in Minneapolis? When Trump issued his order to federalize the National Guard over the objections of California's governor this weekend, that order was not specific to Los Angeles. It was not specific to California. That order that he issued is something that he could use to send National Guard troops anywhere, or even active duty forces. Now he's sending 700 Marines, supposedly, from the Marine Corps base at 29 Palms. And that is a portrait of weakness. Right? That is what you get when you have a supposed leader, a supposed strongman even, who can't figure out how to get the support of his people. And he knows it. That is what you get when you have a weak president, an unpopular president who sees the people are against him, who can't defend his actions, who is losing support over time and not gaining it, even on the issues where he thinks he's supposed to be strongest. This is a president who has no other ideas and no skills to get him out of this political pickle that he is in, and who has therefore rushed right to the end and has decided that if the people are against him, well, then he will bludgeon